Hi everyone, it's Jillian, and this is a drawing I did for the DeviantArt Happy Birthday Challenge thing. Apparently, DA is turning 20 years old, or just turned 20 years old. I thought it turned out really good, and overall, I'm really happy with it. If you have a DA page, come visit me, say hi. I'll leave links down below for mine. If you look too far into my history, I'm sure you'll find some embarrassing old art, and at some point we'll visit that in a later video. But anyway, I really like these types of things where the community can get together and see what other people come up with, and overall I think it's a good experience. And I wish I had more opportunity to do it, but like really Inktober, Mermaid, this and the Sailor Moon Challenge have been the ones I've participated in so far. But anyway, today we're going to talk about art and some tips, tricks, and things I wish I had known or had not been as thick-headed about. This is sort of like my take on it. I know other people have said a billion times on their feelings and stuff, but I wanted to give my point of view. And if you don't want to hear me ramble about that, feel free to turn off the sound and just watch the speed paint or whatever. Anyhow, I'm gonna do this in a weird order. I'm gonna start off with what I feel is the most important, and then I'll work my way, and I may skip around a bit, so please forgive me and my disorientedness. I feel like when you start your art journey, one of the most important things is to have a goal in mind. I know when I first started, my goal was to have my art look like the Sailor Moon art. To me, when I was 14, and that's really when I started seriously drawing. I'm not saying I didn't like doodle or whatever, but that's like when I really got into it. I was 14, 13, and anyhow, to me, the Sailor Moon art was the best art ever when I was a kid, and I still enjoy it, and I still sort of drool over it, and I still have a very soft, weak spot in my heart for Sailor Moon, and I probably have way too much merch in it. Your goals need to be your own, and you can have it as broad as or as big as you feel like you want, and shoot for the stars, man. But like, I also recommend having some smaller goals. Like, once you draw the first couple drawings, you'll realize you will not be like Leonardo da Vinci anytime soon, unless you're a prodigy, which is highly unlikely. Like for me, when I was younger, I'd set a goal of, like, in the beginning of the year, like, this year I'm going to focus on hair or hands or whatever. Here, more recently, like in the past year or two since I joined DeviantArt, I've been trying to put all together, and like I might work on one specific thing for a week or a month or whatever until I feel like I've improved on that, and then I'll look at the overall picture again and be like, okay, where is my weakest point? And like this month I'm working on posing, and shading and hands. Like this picture, the pose is interesting. It kind of looks like a ballerina pose. The drawing I posted not that long ago of the Fire Knight and Black Flame fighting, which I haven't done a video to yet or anything, but I posted it on my DeviantArt page. I tried to make it an interesting dynamic, and I'm really trying. And I'm really working on my coloring skills is another, like, that's a constant, I feel like. Experiment. Like, look at your art and, like, decide, okay, I want my art to look like Sailor Moon art, or Dragon Ball Z, or JoJo Bizarre Adventures, or whatever the case might be, or your favorite YouTuber. Like, hey, I want to look like Jillian's art. How do I do that? I'm not saying I'm your favorite, but, you know, I was using me as an example. But if I am, I'm totally okay with that, and you can leave that down below. I'd appreciate it, and I love y'all. Anyhow, you can say, okay, I really like how Jillian does her hair, because that's like the one thing I'm super proud of. I'm like, I draw the best hair ever. I draw pretty good hair. Like, that's the one thing, like, at least the line work, I feel like I'm really happy with how it turns out most of the time. And, like, say, okay, I like Twisted Disaster's eyes, and I like Hopeless Peach's shading, and I like, I don't know, Drug the Reaper's hatch work. Then you could blend the two together and see what you get. You might get a Franken monster at that point. But, like, use some things that you see that you like. Play with color. Don't be afraid to use different mediums. That's another thing. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like, one of my really good friends who kind of helped get me into drawing, she lost interest in it, and is trying to get back into it, and, like, she's just afraid to make a mistake. She wants it to be perfect. I'm gonna tell you right now, unless Leonardo da Vinci happened to have come back as you from a previous life or whatever, or you're his next life, perfection's probably not going to happen. And, like, even people who are professionals, if you really look at their stuff, I'm sure you could find a mistake somewhere, somehow. You might have to look for 1,000 years, but it's there, even if it's something so minute that's not important. Practice, I know people say that all the time, but, like, it is important, but I think it should be focused practice. Do studies. If you feel like hands is one of your weaknesses, then do a bunch of studies on hands. If you feel like hair is your weakness, or clothes, or whatever, and if you feel like it's all a mess, which I get that, I've been there, focus on one thing. When I first started out, everything was kind of bad, as it is, but pick one thing that maybe you feel like is kind of close to what you want it to look like, work on that, and then maybe once you worked on that for a minute, then you look at it again and say, okay, this spot here, my hands are super weak. Let me do a couple studies on those. And then you look again and you do studies on feet or studies on the human form in general. And that's like another thing, like anatomy. It's one of those like fundamentals or whatever, including perspective, composition, color theory, and lighting and shading. But I feel like those sort of happen as you go. And you're not going to get perfect on everything at first. And I'm trying to bring more perspective and more composition with doing like posing and stuff. And I might do a whole nother video about that at some point. Use references. Most definitely. Like, I felt at one point references were the devil incarnate because I was a stupid kid. And, like, do research. Like, I'm not saying you need to spend an hour every week doing research on how to draw hands in order to do that one figure study or whatever. But do some research, look at color theory, look at all the other stuff, and even look at some of your favorite artists. Try and break down what it is that makes them like one of your favorites. And try to imitate in your own way if you can. I think something that's also important that I feel like I was really bad about, particularly when I was younger, be open to learn and be open to not only learn what you want to learn, but open to learn new things, different things, and things you didn't necessarily plan on learning. Like, I know you might want to draw Sailor Moon art like I did when I was a kid, or you might want to draw Steven Universe Jim Sonas or something, or what's another really popular one? Like, you might want to draw, I don't know, like, I'm not a cool person, I guess. You might want to draw just like Outlaw Star, which is an old anime, or it's older now. Or you might want to do something else, but like, just be open to looking at realism or a different cartoon style or whatever, because you can take some of those lessons from realism or another cartoon style and incorporate it into your own. Like, I feel like I've kind of stolen the way I do skin from 2 or 3 different artists, and like, I still am not happy with the final result, so I've got to keep learning, I guess. But, you know, I've been studying some realism to try and get maybe the look I'm looking for. And who knows, maybe I might give realism another go, but it's scary. Look back at your old art. I know It might not be pretty, but at least keep some of your old art and look back at it. Like, one thing that I do, and I know several other people do, they'll pick like one piece that they were kind of happy with, or maybe they weren't happy with it, but they pick one piece and draw it on like a year apart, or a couple pieces. I have one that's a miraculous ladybug fan art piece that's them in their aqua suits or whatever, and it's like ripping on the Disney cover art for Little Mermaid, and I've redrawn it 2 times. I think I've drawn it twice now, and I want to draw it a 3rd time. And I'm sure I'll come up with some more that I'll want to redraw. Another thing that I think is important is to share your art. I know it might be scary, but that way you can get critiques, you can give critiques, and I feel like I've improved so much from sharing my art. I wish I had done it sooner. Like, I've only been sharing my art for 2 years. I should have been doing it sooner. I would have been so much better. I feel like it's made me accountable, but that's neither here nor there. And I think you need to be your own critic, but be aware that you can be your own worst critic. Don't be too hard on yourself. Like, I know I can be. We all can be. I'm not the world's best artist, nor shall I ever be, which is fine. I just enjoy doing it. And I hope y'all enjoy watching me do it. I try to get better with each piece I do, and that's always my goal, and to be an inspiration and a force of goodness in this community. And I think that's how you have to approach it. Have a good nature about it. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment, tell me what some of the stuff that you wish you had known or not been so thick-headed about. Anyway, bye.